We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 1 of the opening pair series. My name is Kilduff. I am joined today by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Kyle Gavin. Kyle, how are you today?
I'm very good. And yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. We did it. We're technically professionals now. We've started. We're on the journey.
Yes, we are.
This is something that we've talked about for a good while. I'd say I want to say at least like 6 to 8 months now or so is when we kind of first started having these conversations about this. And it's great, I suppose, with COVID going on and there's not a lot going on. So it's nice for us to this is the time to start these little projects ourselves. And I suppose for the audience, I think the important thing is here in episode 1, it's how we got here. How are you and me together? How did this friendship start? And I suppose just a quick plug, guys, if you can subscribe to the channel down below, if you can see our Twitter handles there. I'm at Kilduff Media, Kyle's at KyleGavin23. Any sort of likes, comments, really appreciate it. Any feedback afterwards would be very much appreciated. So, as I said, Kyle, how did we get here? I know for me, I met you 2015, I think it was, early 2015. In Mullingar Cricket Club, where we were both aligned from before. You're still living in Mullingar. I'm actually up in Dublin now, but I'm originally from back there. So I suppose, do you want to maybe talk a little bit of like how cricket came into your life, and also maybe how you reached out to the cricket club and got involved?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, very briefly, really, I played Gaelic football for a number of years, and I became somewhat disillusioned with that, so I decided to look around for other pastimes, and really, I suppose, through watching cricket on TV with Sky and stuff in the house, I kind of took an interest in that. And I think actually at the same time, the Irish cricket boom was happening with the 2007 World Cup and thereafter, and I just seen on Facebook that the local club was just not far from my own house, so I just sent a message saying, I've an interest in the sport and I'd like to just give it a go, and what's required equipment wise and that sort of stuff. And I think within, I don't know, maybe a week or so, they got back to me, and the nets were on Fridays and stuff like that, so I just came down and I just went from there basically.
And I suppose like where you said you were involved in GAA, but where exactly, like where did kind of like the sphere in your head go to, like, oh, I want to play cricket, I'm interested in cricket? Like, where did cricket come in? Like, I know you're saying it was kind of in the media, but then it kind of died off pretty quickly after the media storm, so to speak. So like, how did you stay from 2007 to 15? That's 8 years. Like, did you keep up with it year by year, or where did it kind of come into?
Yeah, it kind of would have been that. I suppose year on year, the mainstream media may have kind of started to show a little bit more interest here, and even just with, I suppose, really and truly, it's English cricket that drives us through Sky, and the Ashes cricket really as well. It's the big one. Anyone that watches cricket will know that's really the Super Bowl, I suppose, of cricket. And so it just kind of could be nothing else on really.
Yeah, that's the thing. The best thing, once you kind of get to the summer, GAA is over, soccer's over, rugby's over. Well, GAA, the club season's kind of over. The inter-county, I suppose, kicks in a little bit, doesn't it? But like, there's a nice kind of space, and of like 3 or 4 months where you can get involved in another sport that doesn't affect other things. I know for myself, I had a kind of involvement in darts for years, and the kind of that turned from that kind of seasonal thing, from kind of like your winter to kind of late spring, into like it would turn into like a 12-month season with summer tournaments and whatnot. But there was that kind of like 90-day, 120-day sort of like period within those kind of months where that sport kind of took it, the shining light, if you will. So 2015 you joined. I believe the first time I met you was heading up to Phoenix for a match.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, I think.
Because we were talking about this the other day, and I thought we were going to Rush for a game, but it was you that said it was actually the Phoenix game.
It was definitely Phoenix. I remember I got a text on Tuesday evening, about 12 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah, so it was very late, and basically it was just kind of like, you came down on the evenings. We're basically looking for another player to make up a team. Are you available? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So look, dive in here and see what this is all about. And yeah, I think basically you registered me up in the car. So yeah, very professional setup. But yeah, it just kind of went from there. I think, as I said to you earlier, I think there was something good memory we had on that day because I think we were very badly beaten. But no, from then on, I just kind of got hooked on it, and great bunch of guys, and just I suppose the social aspect of just making friends and things like that as well.
Yeah, there's a great camaraderie in there, definitely, like involving cricket. There's 11 guys there, you're giving up your whole day, you know. If that continues over the course of the season, you can't help but enjoy the company of one another, I suppose. So that's 2015. We're not really on each other's radar in 2015 that much. Again, we're briefly kind of in social circles slightly, but not much. Then 2016 is probably the year.
I would probably say even 2016 probably not as much. Maybe 2017 was when really we kind of would have clicked more so, I think.
Yeah, because 16, I leave Mullingar, I move up to Dublin. So we're kind of even, we're kind of more, like we're probably even like, if we weren't involved before, we're definitely not then at that stage.
Yeah, very brief interactions with 2016.
Yeah. So 16, you take on the captaincy of the threes in your second year playing cricket, which is madness in one way. But like, throw them in there, and you're still at it. So, like, I mean,
learn the hard way, learn the easy way, I suppose. You know, just jump in the deep end and go from there. But
and I suppose that kind of helped because your interest in cricket was kind of spiking at that. And I remember I came in kind of towards the end of that season to kind of give you a dig out for a few games.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that's where I kind of reignited my small love for the game at that stage. And then that kind of leads into 17 then, I suppose, and we head off to Bristol to see Ireland v England.
That's correct, yeah. I think then that's where we kind of really started to notice we had things in common, and you know, I suppose the social aspect as well, being out and about together, and too many relationships with a group of guys as well, you kind of bond together or whatever.
Yeah, because you're engaged in an experience with the people, you know, so you can't help but not be kind of like involved in that sort of sense of the word. All right. So then we come back. So we come back from Bristol, and then I forget in the timeline when I decide to take on the captaincy of the threes from you. So you have your season, you're done with it. You want to play, you don't want to captain. And then I come in at the tail end of your season, and then look to taking on them from the following year. And we have a friendly game against Athlone. And I was trying out a few of the younger guys, trying out a few different things, and you say to me, I want to open.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is kind of where the show's title comes from, almost.
Yeah, I think it is.
You know, and I'm looking at you and I'm like, I don't think he's up to it, like, but we give him the benefit of the doubt for the day, and you know, we went with it. He hit 40 odd that day, wasn't it?
40 odd or something, yeah, I think so.
You know, and it kind of there in the back of my head, I said, well, I suppose I have to give him a gig now.
Yeah.
So then we proceed to open the baton for the trees for the next year and a half or so.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I was trying to think of our first game in 2017. I don't think we opened together.
No, that was up in
right. No.
Yeah, we were in Charlestown, I think, and wherever we were. I know.
I can't quite remember.
5 or 6.
I think I batted 5 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see, you were my keeper at the time, so I had it in my head that you didn't want you keeping and batting high for your own sake.
Yeah.
And then you were adamant that you could do it, and we said we'd go with it. We took it as it came. So we have the 17 season.
Yeah, I think.
And Gavin Hall comes over.
Yeah,
and you get very close with him, and I suppose I think Gavin was great for the club more so than anything.
Absolutely,
I think he played ones and twos.
Yes,
he helped develop a couple of the trees guys, and was always there in terms of like having a good time, you know, going out. And I think he kind of helped to kind of solidify everyone while still being very much like he's the guy, he's the high caliber guy here.
Yeah.
You know, which was great.
I think he very much brought the spirit of rural club back. I think it's a huge advantage that we have over, we say, your bigger city clubs. I think it's.
Well, listen. Let's not throw shade at city clubs. All right. Let's hear.
There's an
okay,
undercurrent.
We'll get to that now. We'll get to that.
I think that's when things, as you say, really started to take shape. And I think even beyond that, a little bit of on-field success kind of came our way as well, which is always good, for morale and for participation and that kind of thing. People started wanting to get involved. It was a good all-round summer, I think.
Yeah, and then you, me, and Gavin, actually, we start going away on trips together. We went to Galway races. We had a great time with that too. And then so our friendship's really kind of blossoming, it's developing good. Like we're talking an awful lot during the week, at weekends. And then that kind of leads into 2018, I suppose, where I keep the cricket season for cricket captaincy for another year. And we have a really, really strong year. We're 8-6 in the league. We finished third. Our friendship's really, really strong at this stage. Crack's really good, and it's very funny. I do always remember you saying that a couple of members of the club to be always like, "How does this work? How does this work?" Like, and the only thing you can say is, how you don't need to know. You just do it.
It just does. We don't even really know how it works, but
No. So then. I think it's late in the cricket season. I want to say it's around kind of August time when the Vegas trip comes up first. One of your major loves is UFC.
That's correct, yeah. It's one of my major loves, as you say, outside of cricket. I think I was constantly pestering you about it and all the time in the background, just droning on with this UFC this and UFC that.
And you were getting a bit of heat, I'll be honest. You were getting a bit of heat, rightly or wrongly.
Probably rightly, but
Yeah, probably weren't dealing with it the best. I think that's probably the easier thing to say.
That's also a fair call, I think,
and I remember, like, I didn't say much, didn't know much about it to say anything about it. So I know a little bit here and there, and I remember yourself and Gavin, and I want to say another friend of ours, PJ, was heading up to. There was an Ireland cricket game in Clontarf or something.
Yeah, Ireland was, I think, against Bangladesh, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, there was something, and I remember I had finished work. It was free in or something. It was the only way you were going to get me to go anyway. Let's be honest with you. I wasn't going to open the wallet for that.
No,
so I remember going to meet you guys then to head to that, but then it gets rained off, and you guys say, "Oh, come on, we'll bring you back to the gaff or whatever. And we'll go for food and whatnot." I remember being in the back of the car, and next thing you know, this big grin is just looking at me. And I'm like, what? Just what? Just say it. What to say? McGregor's fighting Khabib. Yeah, I know he's fighting him. Yeah. Come on, we go. It's like, no, we're not going to that. We're not going to that. It's like, come on, we go. No, we go. I'll think about it. We went.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We did. Yeah.
Which was crazy. So I think there's a couple of really good stories from the Vegas trip, and I think the first one for me anyway is the fact that, like, it took us ages to get there. Like, it was just ridiculous. We were fine getting to Boston, thankfully.
Boston was fine. Yeah,
Boston was fine. 6 hours. We're fairly jarred getting off the plane. Let's be honest.
We're not sober.
Yeah, and so then we're going Boston to Vegas, and some guy takes a fit in the plane. And we had to do an emergency landing in Oklahoma. And to be honest with you, we should have known there and then that the whole thing was doomed. In hindsight, that should have been the nod to be like, lads, maybe this isn't the best gig. So
I noticed smoke coming out of the ventilators in the airplane. I was getting a bit worried at that stage. All right,
yeah.
So much going on anyway.
Exactly. So we get to Vegas. We get to the hotel. It's not great. I'll take the blame on that one. Sorry. I think it was called the Wild Wild West Inn or something like. You should have known.
Like that, yeah. Basically at the back of the casino or something. It
Yeah.
was off the casino or something.
Yeah, it was off the strip anyway. Well off the strip.
Well off the strip, yeah.
So we stay there. It's not great. And then to make matters worse, then you get a really bad email.
Oh god, yeah.
Which is the email from Via Goga saying that hi Kyle, we can confirm that we cannot confirm your tickets for tomorrow night's fight.
Yeah.
And you go on a mad one at them. You're ringing them. You're claiming that you're being paid off by them. Everything
that term was used, yeah.
But eventually we get sorted.
Yeah, I think we got Wi-Fi, and that was another issue with Wi-Fi in the hotel or casino that we were staying in. Probably wasn't the strongest either, which didn't help the stress factors.
No, that's true. I will take that on board. All right.
Thanks.
But so we eventually get sorted, and obviously the fight happens. The aftermath of the fight happens, and we just stay. We stay until we're told that we're the last people to leave.
Oh yeah, that was the time I had the Irish flag, and I literally put that into my pocket. I don't know how I made that flag fit into my pocket, but the panic will make you do things that you were not as sure that you're capable of, but you will find a way.
Yeah, and it was just crazy, and it was just something that I don't think anyone ever thought would happen.
But the funniest thing was that I was hearing stories from back home on Facebook and whatever, people putting up videos of fights and that type of thing out in the lobby. Obviously, we didn't move. We stayed. We were literally told by security to leave our seats. But then when we went outside, I was expecting World War II, basically. And I could see cop cars, sirens, lights, everything. But to avoid surprises, we walked out and there was a group of about 50 Irish guys and 30 Russians dancing together. Dancing and singing. And,
I think they obviously it kicked off the start, and then the start obviously ended relatively quickly. I'd say we were good 40 minutes before we left.
Oh, we were, yeah. Oh, absolutely, definitely, yeah.
And then I always remember this. We were coming down on the strip, and I remember saying to you, I was like, let's not go to the first place, let's go to the second or the third place, because it'll be less quiet. So we end up in the Bellagio. I just remember being at the bar, and this tick comes over in his McGregor wannabe suit. I think he was Canadian or something. He tries to order a shot proper 12 in the Bellagio, and I just went, kid,
it's just
this is you're not going to get that here.
No.
So then that's that, and then we're kind of done with Vegas now after about day 2. We're done with it.
Yeah, we're just right. Let's just go home, get a good night's sleep, be ready for the flight. I think the flight was early enough.
Yeah,
9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So we were just like, right, let's just finish our drink here and head on home.
Yeah, but needless to say, home was going to take a little bit longer than what we thought. So again, cut a long story short, we're there on the runway and we're ready to go. It was a few kind of false starts almost. Yeah, the engine revs and starts and calms and cools and this, that, and the other. And we're there. We're separate as well. You're in row 26 or something. I'm down in 35 or something like that. Yeah. And plane starts and gets about this far off, and then just slaps back down.
Yeah.
And whole job is gone. You lose it completely. You're not doing great.
No.
I'm not great either now, but relatively okay. I remember it slapped back down the ground and went, well, I'm not going to make work on Monday. That was my first thought.
Yeah. But, I just see fire engines coming towards us and smoke coming from the engine, and I'm just like, I'm happy to be on solid ground there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we eventually get home via Vegas, San Fran, Heathrow, Dublin, exhaustion.
That's right, yeah.
So we're kind of
very nervous.
Yeah, so we're kind of bonded, I'd say, for a good
I think as the saying went, is if we didn't fall out after all of that, I don't think we ever really will.
No, I think that's true. But so that's kind of that's the major That's the moment that I think we're like looking at one and we're like, okay, we're friends.
That's
we're
it now,
okay.
yeah. We've made it.
Yeah. well, we nearly did, but we did.
Yeah.
So I think then that's the end of 2018. 2019 comes. You take back on the cricket captaincy. I decide to take a step away from the game. I get a bit disillusioned. I'm not bothered. I'm injured, but I'm not. Probably could have played. Just wasn't arsed. Yeah, fatigue. And so that can, but then we're still friends. We're still catching up. I drop in a few times to games up in Dublin. We go to a few matches together elsewhere. And then that kind of leads us kind of near to the end of the year where we're kind of having a conversation of, where we're at in lives and stuff. And, we both have we're both pretty, like, have a nice little career going, a few little side projects, and there's no harm in them.
Absolutely,
and, you make the point that you like a sort of an avenue to kind of talk about your interests, and I'm the same. Like last kind of 3 or 4 years I've been hugely into kind of like YouTube content. There's guys there talking in the movie space and whatnot, sports space, 42.e. Like there's a lot of really good stuff out there, and like we've 6 people in the chat, guys. Again, if you could like, subscribe, if you haven't already, really helps the channel. Smallest things really do matter an awful lot in terms of YouTube algorithms and whatnot. Would really appreciate it. So it's kind of late. I want to say it's late 2019 that you kind of get the idea that you want to do like a podcast show. So can you kind of talk a little bit like about where your kind of head came from with that, or how you got to that point? Because there's obviously different kind of ways you could have went.
Yeah, I just felt that was really the avenue that's growing now at the moment. People are looking for content, especially at the times we're living in now. I just feel you can get your point across very well, and I like the idea of the back and forth of opening up a debate with people and allowing different views and different opinions to be out there. I found as well, that buzz you have after watching a live sporting event, and you want to chat to people about it, and you want to see it. Oh, am I the only one thinking like this?
You want to be around like-minded people.
Absolutely, yeah. And as I said, especially given what's happening now, I think that bond that you have through sport and other activities, that's gold, And I just feel like that's really where my head was at. I think there's a gap there. I think just to shoot the shit, basically, and just
that was actually the original title of the pilot, I believe.
I think it was. But no, I just found that I was watching events, I was watching shows, and especially with MMA and stuff, it's on at crazy hours. Even cricket, cricket is on at different hours, different time zones, whatever else. And you're kind of looking for, as you said, like-minded people, just to chat, talk, get their different opinions, their different views. So that's just kind of where you suggested a podcast type vlog scenario, and so we're kind of just jumping on it and seeing what happens, see how it goes.
Definitely, definitely, and I think it's so accessible these days. Like we're using StreamYard. I've seen guys use this for the last kind of couple of months with COVID, everything shutting down. Like the kind of the live studios, it's not happening at the moment. But so they're finding different ways. So logged on, used this very, very easily within kind of like an hour. I kind of knew what we were at. We were able to kind of create these banners and tickers. So I think that kind of like wraps up kind of, I suppose, just a short kind of story. It's just we're 23 minutes at the moment. Don't want to keep people any longer. I think this kind of like just hopefully this kind of gives you just a small vibe in terms of like where we're at in terms of our kind of banter and where we're at in terms of our what we want to do, what we want to discuss. So I think we were saying we might do this like maybe 3 times a week if possible. So we're gonna do same time again on Friday evening, guys. The topic we're kind of gonna just briefly go over is like the entertainment business as we know it today, because obviously with COVID, like cinemas are shut. Movies are being delayed till, Black Widow was meant to be coming out next month. It's not coming out till November. And who knows where we are in November. But, all the sports are gone. But yet Dana White and UFC is going ahead in 3 weeks' time. So we're just going to have a brief discussion over that. And listen, if there's nothing that you guys want us to briefly touch on next episode, by all means, leave a comment. Positive or negative, it doesn't matter. We're here to, learn. We're here to kind of like be the audience's voice. We really hope that you enjoy this kind of first iteration of what the opening pair is. Once again, really would appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, I'm at Keith Kilduff Media. Kyle's at Kyle Gavin. Kyle, I'll leave the last word to you, and we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'd say really appreciate the people from tuning in today. This is an idea we had for a while. We're a little bit nervous and all that sort of stuff, but we're just happy to get something out there and hopefully keep the cabin fever away. And if you can get a bit of crack, a bit of a laugh out of us, and if it entertains you for 20 minutes or so, there's no limit to what we're going to talk about sports-wise. It's not going to be just cricket or whatever. So any suggestions, as Keith said, please get in touch, and hopefully you enjoy.
Lovely. On that note, guys, have a great evening, have a great week, and we'll see you Friday. Thanks very much. Take care.
Very much.
Bye.
All the best.
Cheers. Bye.